That's okay.
Okay.
All right. Hello, everybody. We are live. Welcome to the live show for Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. This is our Once Upon a Read Along book of the month for September. I get all my months mixed up.
Yeah.
So, yes, we are going to be talking about Wonder Woman Warbringer. And with me, as always, I have Chloe from the Bibliophile, who is my partner in crime with the Once Upon a Read Along. And if you guys did not know, every single month for the rest of the year so far, we have planned on having a special guest, and this month we have Desiree from the BookTube channel Libri Labra. So welcome.
Hello. So glad to be joining you guys for your September read.
Me too. I think this is a pretty good one. Well, we'll start off with our initial thoughts. I was pretty excited about this one, but my thoughts we'll get in a second. I will let Desiree, you're a special guest. Why don't you give us your not like a short and sweet, non-spoilery thoughts on this before we go into all the deep spoilery things.
So this is like the first Leigh Bardugo book I've ever read. I enjoyed the writing. I'm still trying to figure out how I felt about the pacing.
Yeah. Do you do star ratings?
Do I what?
You do star ratings?
I do star ratings. I'm not sure what I've given it yet though. So like I'm somewhere between a 3 and a 4, I think.
Okay.
And just having seen the Wonder Woman movie, I think it was a little bit difficult for me to adapt to the time that they're in.
Yeah.
But other than that, I enjoyed it and I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, this like the whole thing messes me up with canon. Like obviously she is working with what is this, DC, I think?
Yeah, it's DC.
Yeah, I thought it was DC. Obviously, she's working with DC to put out a Wonder Woman story, but the fact that like the time difference, I don't get it. What the heck is canon and what's not, and how? I guess that's the whole like multiple universes thing, maybe that I just have a hard time wrapping my head around when it comes to superhero anything.
Right.
But yeah, so Chloe, what were your non-spoilery thoughts?
I ended up giving this a 3.5, because throughout reading it, I was like, well, I like the story, but it's also the timeline. I'm very confused on where this goes. Is it supposed to go along with the movies? Is it supposed to go along with the comics? I don't know the comics. I don't know. So I ended up giving it a 3.5. I did enjoy the story itself. I think my issue is I'm just having trouble with the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Because originally I thought it was supposed to go along with, or not go along with the movie, but be around that time frame. And I was expecting like at like post-war era, and instead I'm getting it like modern era, but she's supposed to be a teenager.
Right?
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah.
But I gave it a 3.5.
So okay, then question for both of you then, because my star rating, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, and that is literally just for the book. Like if I had not known that the time periods were different between the movie and the book, I might have given it maybe I had taken that into consideration and I would have given it lesser of a star rating. But I knew going into it, like, because I had skimmed through it, so I knew going into it that the timelines were different for some reason. So I kind of just separated the movie and the book and just looked at the book as a whole, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars just based on the book. So if you guys have like not even, would you have given it a higher star rating if the would you have given it a higher star rating if it didn't have anything to do with the books or with the movie? Does that make sense?
Like if I hadn't seen the movie, because then I wouldn't be comparing it.
Or if you didn't consider like the whole timeline difference and stuff like that.
I use recently, at least this year, I've been using the Goodreads star rating system, and what they consider like a 2 is it was okay, a 3 is I like it, a 4 is I love it. And I think my overall thoughts are I just liked it. It's like I didn't like love it, and it wasn't like perfect. So I think I probably would have stuck with like a 3 to a 3.5, since I gave it the 3.5 because I liked it, but I didn't love it. So I wasn't sure what to do with that.
So, and what's 5?
A 5 is like,
it was amazing.
Yes. 5 is it was amazing.
So you said, Desiree, that would you have given it a higher star rating, or?
Yeah, because I don't know if I loved it either. I mean, I enjoyed it. 3s are always so hard for me. Like, I always feel guilty giving a book a 3 for some reason. Because I think I just tend to rate higher anyway. But if we're using that as the guide, like I liked it or I loved it, then I would still probably be at a 3 emotionally, I think.
For me, like the biggest thing that I have problems with, and so I guess now we're getting into more spoilery sections. So for those of you, our first 5 minutes are spoilery free, and then this last part, the next like 45 minutes is going to be all spoilers. So if you have not read Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo, even if you've seen the movie and the book are completely different. So if you do not want to be spoiled, leave now, read the book, and come back for all of our thoughts.
Brandon says hi.
Hi, Brandon. I'm glad someone's watching the chat. Okay. With that said, the biggest reason why I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars is I feel like there were plot holes. Like the whole time I'm just like, well, why are they doing this and not this? And specifically, I mean, like, okay, so everyone's trying to attack Diana or what's her name? Aliyah?
Aliyah? I don't know.
Aliyah.
Aliyah and my
Aliyah.
Aliyah? Okay. Aliyah. One of those. So anyway, everyone is trying to like kill her so that she does not doesn't bring about worldwide destruction, right? So like everyone is pursuing her and trying to kill her before this holiday thing that I cannot pronounce. It starts with an H.
Hecatombian?
Sure, that one. To kill her before this date so that she doesn't, fulfill her destiny as the Warbringer. And I'm just like, doesn't everyone see that she's trying to go to Greece to stop being the Warbringer and then like end the Warbringers as like completely? And so I'm just like, why isn't that the thing? Like, why does everyone have to kill the Warbringer? Why can't the life goal of all of these people be
to like get her there?
Why are you all trying to get her to the river in Greece so that there's no more Warbringers? Like, doesn't that make more sense to you? And so, like, that was the biggest problem that I had with this, was that huge plot hole. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And I was just like, why are you trying to stop her and kill her when she's trying to get to Greece and stop the line of Warbringers? If you kill her, there's just going to be more. Like, it just doesn't...
Well, I mean, I feel like that requires a level of communication that was not happening. I mean, she's not going to be like, hey guys, stop trying to kill me.
But they're trying to kill her after she lands in Greece.
I think now, like, for the ending, who we realized that it was her brother the entire time trying to do this, I don't think he wanted her dead necessarily, because I remember... Because I started physically reading it, and then I just listened to the audiobook for the rest of it. And I just remember, like, he wanted her alive, not dead, because he wanted to, like, take her DNA and be like her or something like that. And so I think he just, like, maybe it was just for show.
Yeah, and when we realized the ending that it was all him, I was like, well, I guess it explains this huge-ass plot hole. But then for literally 95% of the book, that's all I could think about, was that they're trying to kill her. Well, when we found out she was a Warbringer, from that part all the way up until basically the end, when we found out that her brother did all of this, it just like completely ruined the enjoyment for me, because I was just like, none of this makes sense. So that's why I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I thought that it could have been, that it had the potential of being really, really good, but it was just okay for me, in my opinion. Thoughts?
I'm still trying to sit with, how they did the twist with Jason, because it almost felt cheap. Like, it felt maybe predictable, because you had this feeling like, all right, somebody within their circle is doing something. And I know they tried pointing fingers at other people.
Yeah, I really thought it was Dio.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, when he got the lasso around him, and they made him tell the truth about if he was involved, and he said
no, yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't know anything. It's like, maybe she should have waited to do that scene until like closer to the end, or just not done that scene with Leo at all.
Well, that was pretty close to the end, wasn't it? It was like they were already in Greece at that point.
Oh, maybe there was like 25% left.
I had thought it was Theo's dad though, because like he's the one who's like, they like running the company.
Yeah, they thought it was Theo's dad, and they thought Theo had something to do with it, or that Theo knew about it at the very least. And but there was no way to prove that his dad had anything to do with it. I guess. I mean, they obviously cleared Theo's name. He didn't do anything with it, so But I don't know. I thought that it had so much potential to be really, really good, and I just had like so many little problems with it all the way through. Like also the whole thing with what's the brother's name again? I forget.
Jason
and Diana. Like when they almost had a thing. Why? That was like not needed at all.
I completely forgot about it until it was mentioned later in the book, and I was like, it wasn't needed.
No, there was like this book could have gone through the entire thing with zero romance, and I would have been so happy about it.
I guess she was trying to play up the betrayal, like. Is there anything worse than like a romantic betrayal? I don't know.
One of two things happens when I do these live shows. Either it makes me realize that the book is much better than I thought, or the book is much worse than I thought. So, like, I swear to God, I've only been talking for 10 minutes, and
you're like, I'm giving it a 2.
And it sucks, too, because, like, it has such amazing potential. That's the only reason why I would give it a 2, is because I think, like, the actual writing, like, her plot devices, Leigh Bardugo's plot devices, and like what she uses to make the plot more exciting, those aren't good. But like her writing itself is good. She is a good writer. Is she a good storyteller? Probably not. So
I mean, with this being the first book of hers I've read, I'm wondering how different, something that she had total control of would be. Because she is working within something that's already established, so that's got to come with its own hurdles, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, like her other series I read, I mean, I haven't read The Language of Thorns yet because it's just released, but all the books in the Grisha series I've read, and they were really good. I really liked them, really liked them actually. So I don't know what it was. I think she just went a little overboard on the whole plot devices, like the romance with Jason and Diana, and the Jason being the bad guy, and how that was twisted. And I just
How did you feel? And I'm wondering if this was just me or the actress that was doing the audiobook or what, but I felt like kind of the first maybe 15% of the book, Diana didn't feel like Diana to me. Like, I think it took her some time to get Diana's voice. So it just felt really weird.
I think it might have actually just been the book, because, I mean, I don't know if you follow the comics, and I don't. And like the movie, we see Diana as such a strong female character, and in this, we're seeing her as like the weak link in her group, and not seen as the most powerful person. So I think it just was probably the book itself. And like the narrator didn't help.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't listen to the audiobook at all, but I did get a little bit of that feeling. Like I feel like a lot of the other girls on Themyscira, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yeah, on Themyscira on the island, I feel like a lot of the other women like kind of made her more of an outsider in the book rather than the movie, and so I can see why she felt like that. But also I think that for Diana as a character as well, like Diana as a character, I really, really liked. It was almost everything else about the book that I wasn't that much of a fan of, or it was just okay. So,
I think in the beginning,
her own.
In the beginning, I think, well, it is happening during modern times, and Diana has this, this kind of, ignorance about her in regards to mortals in the mortal world. You know, it's almost like this innocence where she answers questions and she's like, what do you mean? Like, kick his ass? What does that mean? You know, and I don't think the author was using that in the beginning. So it seemed like she was just too much in modern times, and she didn't feel at all to show that distinction between like what she knows of Themyscira and like the mortal world is what it felt like in the beginning.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
If it wasn't set in modern time, I would almost think that this story came before the Wonder Woman movie.
Right. Well, it would have to, because she'd be a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, my whole timeline is so messed up now because of that.
Yeah, it's gotta be the like they do the whole, you know, this is one universe where Wonder Woman went to the modern world when she was a teenager, and then there's another universe where she is a full-grown adult, and she went to pre-World War II, I think was it World War II?
Yeah. I think they set the movie in World War II. I think it's supposed to be World War One. I don't actually know.
I don't remember. I saw the movie like opening weekend, so it's been a little bit since I've seen the movie. But
I also felt like she was beating us over the head with the whole Diana's made of clay thing.
Yeah.
It felt like it's like I get it. She was made of clay. Like, how many times are we gonna throw this in there? Like,
what is she called? Daughter of Earth, like 500 times.
Yeah, and this. So.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm just like, you guys are pointing out all these things. I'm like, oh yeah, that was really bad too. It's crazy. I'm trying to like think of. I did like the idea of Warbringers though. Like, I thought that was a really cool. Like, I had never heard of that before. I don't know if that's something that was already in Greek mythology.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know of that?
No, I don't.
If it was, or you know it's not.
No, I've never heard of that. I don't know if that's
so I mean, I did really enjoy the idea of a Warbringer and like how they incorporated, or how she incorporated Helen of Troy and her descendants as Warbringers. I thought that was really cool, and that was probably one of the most interesting things that I liked about it. And I liked that her parents were trying to like figure out the scientific side of, you know, being a Warbringer, like her DNA and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that. I like that we got to see the gods like towards the end.
Yeah.
They kept kind of showing up over and over.
I was a little confused. Did they show up as her friends at first? Because I was really confused.
Yeah. It sounded like they were possessing the friends.
Yeah. And then I think at the end they actually like showed themselves, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was a little confused by that as well. I had to like reread that a couple times to make sure, like, okay, what's exactly happening here? Because I don't know. Sorry, I'm getting over bronchitis, so I cannot stop coughing. All right, so is that it? We're done?
There's nothing in the chat, so if anybody watching has any questions.
Chat's dead. Brandon killed the chat. Scared everybody away. I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to talk about, but I don't remember. I think that was everything. So I want to discuss.
I don't think it's too hard to kind of make the association that if Alia was one thing, then obviously her brother would have something too, you know, being from the same bloodline and stuff. But I don't know. I was
wondering that, like, why do the women have to be Warbringers? I don't think that was ever discussed.
Yeah, like, I don't think so either.
For a little while, I was like, what if Aaliyah's not the Warbringer and it's Jason? Because, like, why? I was hoping that was going to be the twist for a little while there, but it wasn't. And then something else that I completely forgot that I wanted to talk about was, for people who are interested, the diversity of the characters. Mm-hmm. If you guys want to know how that is. So Aaliyah is a female person of color. Her breast. Wow. Her best friend, I believe, is POC as well, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. And she comes out as a lesbian at some point in the book. So, so that is the diversity there, which I thought was really cool. I love that, like, I mean, Diana, I'm assuming in this universe is white. She looks white on the front page, but the other 3 main characters are all people of color.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's the most diversity I've seen in any book in a while. So, you know, that's really, really awesome. And it wasn't, and I love that the best friend, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, I kissed this girl that one time, and I just, and Leah's like, what? You kissed her? Not like you kissed a girl, but you kissed
right,
a girl?
exactly. Yeah.
And it's like, well, what do you expect me to do? There's not very many choices of lesbian. And
right, I don't get to pick the lesbians. Yeah,
exactly. And that was kind of like how it was introduced to the reader, that she was gay, and it was like characters knew that she was gay, but it wasn't that big of a deal. She was just, you know, she was just gay. And you know, I really liked how she did that aspect of the story.
I think Nim was my favorite character.
Nim?
Yeah,
I love her. I love that she like designs clothing. I thought that was really cool, and she's funny, and it was great.
Yeah.
Were you sad when we thought she was dead for a couple of pages?
Yeah, I was so upset.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that either, because it happened really quickly, and I was like, really? We've been on a journey with these 4 people this whole time, and that's what you're gonna do to them? So that was pretty upsetting, but I don't know if I like the idea of just like waving your hand and making it all go away. And
well, she did the same thing to Jason too. You know, like because Jason flew out of the airplane and he was dead for like 2 pages, and then it's like
wait, okay, somebody fix that. Like, what actually happened there? So I don't think I was clear on what happened there. I just remember Diana being like, how did you do that? Like, so I don't remember.
He got sucked out of the plane when a big hole was put in the side of it.
Yeah,
right.
And he grabbed onto the wing of the plane, and that's how he survived, because he's
it's superhuman, right?
Yeah, he's got some sort of super demigod blood in there somewhere, which makes him powerful enough to be able to hang on to a flying plane, I guess.
I mean, this book is pretty short. Well, short for like, well, it's not really short, but I feel like it wouldn't have hurt to add like it's like 360 pages. It wouldn't have hurt to add like an extra 40 pages just to make the pacing go a little better.
Well, it's too fast.
Just with like oh, they're dead. Oh, nope, they're alive now. Oh, we thought he was dead. Oh no, it's him.
What did you think about the pacing? Because you said at the beginning you didn't know any ideas.
I mean, I was listening to the audiobook, so I feel like if I had physically read it, I would have had more of an opinion. But since I was on a time crunch and listening at 2 times speed, I don't think I really have a good opinion right now.
What did you think, Desiree?
So I had started like reading it in the beginning.
So did I.
And I had already been reading reviews with people complaining. They were like, oh my God, no action happens till like 200 pages. Like people complaining.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I felt pretty wrapped up in the story. Like even the mild things that were happening to me seemed like progress, right? You were finding more about the Warbringers, and you were finding out more about who Alia was, and you know, I liked that they went to New York City because that's where I'm from. So
yeah.
So I was just kind of savoring all the little moments. I didn't really feel like it dragged.
Yeah, I was never bored or anything like that. And like, I think that the action-y parts were very well spread out throughout the story. Like, you know, there's action in the beginning when Alia is on the shipwreck, and then, you know, kind of in the middle with the attack of the
museum. Yeah,
museum party thing that they're at, and then all that stuff at the end. There was a bunch of stuff, you know.
See, no, that actually seems like a lot. Like when you,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. A lot of people just wasn't enough action, and interestingly enough, when there's too much action for me, I get bored.
Yeah,
I don't like contrast.
I mean, I went into this book blind. Like when I started reading it, I don't think I read the synopsis until I was already like a chapter or 2 in. So I really didn't know what to expect before this came out.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, it sucks because I'm so, like, conflicted, which is why I want to give it a 3 out of 5 stars. Like, there's little things that just annoyed me about the story, but then, like I said, it's got good potential, and the world building, like you were saying, Desiree, is really good. Like, everything's not all dumped on you at once about her being a Warbringer and how it's connected to her family and how it is connected to Greek mythology. And, it's not all dumped at you at once. It's very well spread out, and you learn it slowly over time. And so the world building is great. And, there are things that are, like, really, really good, like the writing and the pacing I thought was decent too. And the world building, those are all really good things. But then there's things about the plot that just annoyed the hell out of me. And so I'm just like, I'm really in the middle with it.
So what about, like, the whole thing with Alia and Theo?
I ship it.
I mean, but it kind of didn't go anywhere. Like, what was...
No.
And from... There's not going to be another one, right? There's not going to be another book? I don't think so.
The rest of them in the series are going to be following different superheroes.
Right.
Yeah,
but
like,
do they connect in any way, shape, or form?
Who knows? I guess we'll find out in January when Batman comes out.
All right.
This is why I like the X-Men, okay? Everything makes sense, and everyone, like, it just, the universe makes so much more sense for stuff like this. And, like, I don't know. I like the X-Men so much because the world and the universe makes sense, and then you get stuff like this, and it's just like, what is even going on anymore? Like, with the universe and timelines and who's connected to who and who's not, and
wait, actually, I just remembered a part. I just remembered that the Oracle had kind of shown her a glimpse of the time, and it showed Alia and Theo together. So I guess that kind of answers that question. Because I was going to say, like, why even put it in there if you're not going to...
Yeah.
Like, it didn't need the romance. And you could tell there was tension between her and Theo since, like, the beginning of the book when they introduced him.
Oh, yeah.
So...
But I don't know, I think because there's, like, history there, and I think they have the connection of, like, feeling betrayed by Jason, that, I think that they would be good together. Like I said, I ship it. I think it would be cool to find out where they go, but who's doing the next one? Is it, like, Batman?
It's
Batman. Marie Lou?
Yeah, it's Marie Lou for Batman.
I haven't read anything by her either.
She wrote
Legend.
Yep.
And Warcross. Yep.
Oh, Warcross was so good, you guys. Oh my god. Oh my god. It was my favorite book of last month, even though I only read, like, 4 books. So good. Yeah. That's the only thing I've read by Marie Lou, I think. But
well, I don't know the release dates for the other 2. I just know Batman comes out in January. But Sarah J. Maas is doing Catwoman, and I know next to nothing about Catwoman besides, like, when she showed up in the Christian Bale Batmans. And then Catwoman. Matt De La Pena is doing Superman, and I've never read anything by him.
Me neither.
But I have no idea when Catwoman or Superman come out.
Can you guys explain something to me? Because, like, they're talking about, like, this war, right? This human war was a really big deal on Themyscira. Like, why? Like, what? I feel like they live on their own island, and they're so separated.
I think it's because a lot of the women were regular people before they came to the island, and that's why they came to the island.
I got the idea that the women on Themyscira, their job was that when there is this big, huge war, they go and help man. Like, I thought that was, like, what they were training for, and, like, that's the idea that I got. But maybe I'm wrong.
But, I mean, no, I think I can see where you got that. So I guess that's where my confusion lies, because it's like, okay, they step in to help man, but then they hate us all the rest of the time. Like, why?
I don't think they hate us. I think they just see the flaws in our ways. Does that make sense?
Whereas Diana's a little bit more innocent about it, like, because she hasn't been a human.
Yeah. All these women on this island have been humans, and they understand, like, the terrible, horrible things that we can do. And Yeah, I want to know where all these women came from too, because like they have to. It was it the book or the movie that said that they? I think it was the book that said that they have to like
call out a goddess's name when they die. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, who does that?
I know. I know. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't. I wouldn't be like, Athena! Like, that's just not going to happen.
I mean, I've never almost died, so I don't know what to say. I guess when I'm on my deathbed, if I just got, and they have to be like in war too, right? Like, or in battle.
Something like that.
So I don't know how they got all these women on this island, but I imagine them all.
Find out when Catwoman and Superman come out.
I imagine them all being Vikings, like all of them, because that's the only women that I can think of that were active in wartime, like active in battle, and believed in a multi-deity religion. So I just imagine that they're all Vikings, but it's probably highly inaccurate.
Can we take a minute to talk about like the stereotype they were using to kind of describe Theo? I think that was kind of stupid.
What do you mean?
They were just like, oh, he just sits around and plays video games all day. Oh my god, he's a loser. Like,
he gave me a frat boy vibe.
Really? Because I do
like a rich,
remember them saying a lot that, you know, he was
like a rich frat boy.
But I remember them saying a lot that he was like geeky and like, yeah. I guess I just didn't catch on to that as much, but yeah, you saw that more than I did.
They said it a few times. They were like, oh, he just plays video games all day. Like, it wasn't until they got onto the island that they really started talking about how good he was with tech and whether or not he could start this car and then stuff like that. And even Jason, still, even after the fact, he was like, oh, you're not living up to your potential and you're not doing this, that, and the other thing. And
maybe it was another example of like a bad plot device. Like, oh, I'm going to make sure that the reader knows that he's tech savvy and a geek, so that when we get on the island, it'll make sense that he can start the car with his phone. It's a bad example of using a plot device to make the plot make sense, I guess.
I mean, well, gamers aren't the only people that can be tech savvy, and we don't have to like poop on them, do we?
Like... No, I totally see your point, and you're completely right. That's what I'm saying. It's like he just used a bad example of a characteristic in order to make the plot make sense. And I don't know, she could have been a lot more what's what I'm looking for, like creative in relaying the idea that he is tech savvy. For sure. There's examples of bad plot devices in this story.
So now, what was like the final note that Jason ended off on? Because it was like he was, I don't know, they tried to make their battle reflect that story that was Diana's favorite story, and like she shut it down immediately. She was like, we're not equals, dude, this is not happening. Like, but I
really like sped read through the last couple of chapters, if I'm going to be completely honest, because I was trying to finish before the live show, so I wasn't completely in it on the final battle. And like I think you said earlier that action bores you. Same. Like, I think the biggest like pet peeve I have when it comes to books, especially fantasy books, is the end scene battle. Like that whole thing. It's like, why does every major book have to end in a battle? It doesn't have to. I feel like there should be something else that a book ends in. It doesn't have to be a battle. So like I almost always speed read through the final battle end scene thing because it bores the hell out of me. I'm just like, all right, tell me who died.
Yeah. Well, so just to recap, she had, you know, when they had their moment together, he had asked her to tell truth about something, and so instead of asking her where she was from or anything like that, he said, what's the favorite story that you referred to? And apparently there were just like two people that were somewhat enemies, but they were equally matched, and as they were fighting, they fell in love, but they were stubborn, so they fought to the death, even though eventually they were in love. And so she found that they were equally matched. She just found that story to be powerful to her. He was describing it to him, and he was like, you think that's romantic? They battled it to the death. And she was like, they found their equal, you know, like, so so whatever. So anyway, at the end, when they start fighting, you know, he kind of like makes references to that story to be like, here we are, kind of in the romantic aspect. And she was like, we're not equals. We're not. Just like,
that's actually kind of badass. I kind of want to reread that. And
yeah. And then, but see, that's when he takes her blood and injects it into himself, because he's like, well, now we're going to be equals. But he didn't know about the voices and the, you know, the misery that he was going to have to endure from all the other sisters or whatever. So, but is that where they left it with him? He's just on the floor covering his ears because he can't deal with things?
I figured he's dead. I would hope he's dead.
It didn't sound like he was dead, though, right?
I don't think he was.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't know. Why not? Why isn't he dead? He needs to be dead. Just kill him already. Kill him for the second time and don't let him come back again.
Oh, man.
I like the Oracle.
All the goddesses just seemed really bitchy to me.
They're goddesses. They're allowed to be.
I know, but they're just like, you got nothing to give me? I have no answers for you. Like,
well, a lot of Greek gods, like, if you read, like, the real, I mean, you know, like, the original story, as original as you can get, they are, like, jealous, hateful beings. Like, the Greek gods are not nice people. They're terrible freaking people, for sure. So I guess I expect that. Like, Percy Jackson, the gods in Percy.
I was going to say, maybe I just haven't read enough Percy Jackson. Like,
no, the gods in Percy Jackson are not like what you would really expect. Like, anything that, like, anytime any Greek god gets jealous, they just, like, they're so vindictive and they're so mean and jealous, and just, like, they're not these, you know, like the Christian God that a lot of people know, you know, is an all forgiving, loving deity, and, you know, Greek gods are nowhere even near that. So I kind of expected it, them being complete bitches. But it's just, I guess it's the idea that you have in your head when you go into reading about them, that whether it makes sense or not. Did you find out the dates, Chloe?
Catwoman is sometime in 2018. There's no specific date yet, and Superman is sometime in 2019.
Oh wow, that's far away from now.
Yeah.
We'll probably just have one a year from now on. Anything happen in the chat?
No.
Brandon said, I didn't kill nothing. I'm awesome.
He killed the chat. Sorry. Sorry to break it to you. We usually have a comment or two at least. Now we have nothing. It's all your fault. Anyone who is viewing or hanging out, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, now would be the time to ask them, because we're at about 40 minutes now, which is usually we go about 45 minutes. So if you guys have anything else that you wanted to add about the book.
Well, I think the other thing that people were kind of complaining about was that they felt that the book wasn't about Diana, that it was all about Alia. And so I'm just curious.
Point them to the title.
I know. I'm just curious how you guys felt about it. Did you feel like there wasn't enough actual Diana in it, or Wonder Woman? I mean, I don't think I felt that way.
No, yeah, I didn't feel that way. Did you feel that way, Chloe?
I think it was fine.
Yeah, I didn't feel like. I mean, she's the main character. I think her and Aaliyah together are the main character. You know, I mean,
yeah,
they're the two main characters, I should say. And I felt like we got just enough of both of them. I thought that her character development. Oh, that's something I did want to mention. Diana's character development, like going from her being so unsure of herself and her powers and her place in Themyscira, and then like everything that she achieved and did and succeeded in, and how that changed her. And then when she got back to the island, and oh my God, something else that really freaking bugged me. We were talking about that, you know, they were really hard on her and hard on her being an outsider and not earning her place in Themyscira.
And now she can't tell anybody.
But then, no, that too. And she got back to the island, and they were like, "Oh, we were just telling you that you would go and do this thing."
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like psychology. And I was just like, "Are you serious? You did that to her? Like that would mess me up. I would need a therapist." Like, I seriously would. Like, how could you say that to her?
And she was like, "But you didn't know if I was going to succeed." Oh, well, then I guess you wouldn't have been who we thought you were. Like,
I was just like, what? Like, no, I hated that. I was like, that's terrible. How could you do that to that poor girl? You thought that you didn't accept her entire life. And
I know.
Worried the entire time that she was going to get exiled from her home. Like, how could you do that? I don't understand. That bothered me. I was so done. I was like, nope. Let's have the live show already.
I guess that's part of the hero's journey.
Yes.
Megan says, "Hey, I've been watching from the beginning, but I haven't read it, nor did I plan to do so. I wanted to hear y'all's thoughts. I've really enjoyed the discussion."
Oh, yay, I'm glad. So I'd ask if you're still hanging out, Megan, then are you going to read it now? You said you didn't plan to. Did we change your mind? Probably not. I mean, no, you know, when I read or watch negative reviews, it makes me want to read the book more.
Really?
Yeah, unless it's like bad.
It's like really bad. Yeah.
Like, yeah, unless the person's like completely ripping it and it's got like, or it's problematic. Like if it's extremely problematic, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna stay away from that one. You know. But other than that, if it's got a negative review, I'm just like, I wonder what I would think. Let me check this out.
Yeah.
So you never know. Oh, why do we have 5 viewers and we're almost done, man? You guys, you better watch from the beginning. Anyway,
do you guys have like a favorite part in the book or a favorite character?
I like Nim.
I like Nim too. I don't really have a favorite part.
I'm trying to think if I have a favorite part or not.
I think Theo was pretty funny. There were funny parts, but I don't think I laughed out loud at anything.
No. I remember there was...
I think...
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think it, like, towards the end, he was just like, oh, shit, am I dead? Am I a zombie? So, like...
Yeah, so there were definitely some good parts. I liked the... Oh, Nim and Theo going at each other and then not having a romance was really good. Like, thank you, Leigh Bardugo. I wish that this book had zero romance. I'm so upset about the whole kissing thing with Diana and Jason. Like, ugh, it didn't need to happen. But, you know, whatever. It is what it is.
It didn't go anywhere anyway.
I disliked Jason the whole book. I kind of felt like even when they started getting close and they were always talking about his dimples and he was so good looking and he was just, I don't know. Maybe I kind of felt like he was just being shady. So
I didn't expect it. I didn't think that. I thought it was Theo. I thought it was Theo's family, I guess. I thought it was Theo for a while, but then when he had the last thing, like I said, I didn't think it was him anymore. I thought it was his family.
So Megan says she thinks she will, but she'll wait for someone to buy it for Christmas as a Christmas gift.
Same.
And read it with some separation because she just watched the Wonder Woman movie, so she wants some separation from that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think that would be good. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people are comparing it to the movie, going, WTF, what the heck is this crap? I mean,
she's a grown woman in the movie.
Yeah.
That doesn't fix the timeline issues, but you know.
It really doesn't. If anything, it makes it more confusing. Because, like, if she was a teenager in this book and it was set in early 1900s or something, like,
that's fine, but
that would make more sense because, like, the time on Themyscira doesn't run the same as the mortal world, right? Like, they were on Themyscira for a couple of hours, and an entire week had passed in the mortal world. So, yeah, I'm not sure how that would work. That makes my brain hurt too much to think about all the different timelines and universes and things like that.
So would you recommend this book to anyone? Would you still tell people to read it, or would you just be like,
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't know if it is.
wouldn't say absolutely do not read it. You know, it's not bad. It's just not great either. Go in with an open mind and don't expect the movie to be the same thing as the book, or the book to be the same thing as the movie, I should say.
I saw somebody say that as a Wonder Woman book, they give it 2 stars. As a Percy Jackson mythology book, they give it like 5 out of 5 stars.
Huh. That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
there's a lot of different takes that you can have on this book for sure. You know, I don't think I've ever been more conflicted about the way that I feel about a book. Like, I just don't know. I don't know what to rate it. I don't know what to think. I don't know. Would you recommend it, Desiree, to people?
Maybe to people who haven't really immersed themselves in Wonder Woman canon, maybe.
Yeah. It's not good for the diehard fans.
No.
Yeah. So what was your favorite part?
Although I agree that it didn't really need any of the romance, I did like the exchange between Alia and Theo when they're talking about the letter that she had written him. I don't know. It was touching. It felt very genuine.
Yeah, it felt like adorable but cringy at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
I would be so embarrassed. Like, yeah.
But, you know, it was just nice to know that he kept it and he still read it and that it actually did something for him. And so.
All right. So if we don't have anything else in the chat.
She did ask a couple of questions. Do y'all think DC is trying to go a younger direction with the books to draw in a newer, younger audience, which would be why it's not canon? And then she also said, like, people who have never really been involved in comics.
Not necessarily, because DC's not the only one who's done this. Marvel's done it too with Black Widow and Margaret Stoll. And
not necessarily to what part?
To trying to generate it to a younger audience, because I think there's a lot of teenagers that already enjoy the superhero aspect. They may not necessarily enjoy the comics, but at least the movies. And DC's not the first to do this. Marvel did it. They had a duology Black Widow series with Margaret Stoll writing it. And there's also there's the Star Wars books that Cynthia Hand writes. This isn't the first time it's been done.
So do you think that they're doing it to kind of like cover another form of media and make more money?
Possibly. I don't think they need to reach a younger generation. They already have that in the movies.
I guess, I don't know. I feel like most people who, like, not all movie watchers read books.
Right.
Books watch movies. Like, most everyone watches movies. So I'm not really sure if they're just doing it to be like, hey, if you really, really like Wonder Woman, go see the movie and then go to Barnes & Noble and watch and read the book, you know? You can do both and we'll make twice as much money. But I don't know. I guess I'd like to say that they're trying to reach a different audience, like, because up until recently, really, the only way that you can get superhero content is through comic books. And not everyone likes to read comic books. So they started doing movies and now books. And so, I don't know, maybe they're just trying to, like, cover all their bases. Who knows? Also, I gotta show you guys something because I almost cried. Let me see if I can find the page. Chloe, do you want to start winding down and getting ready for the announcement next month?
I mean, do you want me to go ahead and already talk about that while you look for it?
Yeah, because it was just, I spilled coffee on my book.
Gross.
So I wanted to I almost cried. Hold on.
I've got my cat. Is that what you're looking for? Is the coffee stain?
Yeah, I'm looking for my coffee stain. Because I was going to be like, look what I did, you guys. And this is book signed by Leigh Bardugo. So.
Oh, wait. So did you spill the coffee because you were going to cry, or you were going to cry because you spilled the coffee?
I was going to cry because I spilled the coffee.
Oh, okay.
I spilled a milkshake on a Morgan Matson signed book, but for the most part, it's clean, so I'm okay with it. Okay, so this October. So our October book of the month is going to be Wonder by R.J. Palacio. My copy does not have a dust jacket. I don't see anything.
Oh,
I
yeah,
see it now.
Yeah.
So upset.
So October, we're in October. The October book of the month is Wonder by R.J. Palacio. My cover does not have a dust jacket. We're reading this because the movie comes out in November, I think. I'm pretty sure it comes out in November. I don't remember.
After the live show, do we know?
What was that?
Does it come out before or after the live show?
Let's find out.
If the movie comes out after the live show, I kind of want to do a Twitter. Maybe we could do like a Twitter poll to see if people want the live show after the movie. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying, but I'm already worried because if we do that, we're going to be basically in December by the time that happens.
Yeah, all right.
It comes out on November 16th.
So the live show is going to be before the movie.
Yeah. Because we are, okay. The live show this time around, I don't know who our guest is. I never do. The live show this time around, instead of being on a Sunday, it's going to be on a Saturday. And it's going to be the first Saturday of November, Saturday, November 4th at 6 p.m. So it's same place, same time, just the day before on Saturday.
Okay. Yay!
The end.
I have been eyeing that book, so I may read it just so I could read it.
I hate that mine doesn't have a dust jacket.
Your dust jacket.
I bought it used, and I saw the opportunity of, hey, I can have a copy of this book. We're reading it later this month. I'll just put it at the bottom of my shelf. I saw opportunity, and I took it.
Okay, my computer is running really slow, so I'm trying to bring up the date for the thing. But if you guys are looking at the live show right now, click the link where it says Goodreads, and that'll bring it up, and it should say who are
Well, then I'll pull up our Goodreads. Is it raining? I think it's raining.
I hear thunder at my house.
Yeah, it's raining where I am.
So your special guest is Sabrina the Teenage Reader.
Oh, yay, Sabrina! Okay. All right, so definitely go and check out Sabrina. Also, was that all the announcements that we had? So we're reading Wonder by R.J. Palacio next month. The live show is November 4th, which is a Saturday. Right?
Yes, Saturday, okay. November 4th, 6 p.m.
And
YouTube.com/KVE girl.
Yep, at this channel. Same bat time, same back channel. And then our special guest next month is going to be Sabrina from Sabrina the Teenage Reader, so definitely check her out. And also, since you're already on my channel, linked down below in the description of this live show is Chloe. You're this way, Chloe. So on my screen, I don't know where you are on their screen. Anyway, Chloe from the Brunette Bibliophile and Desiree from Libri Labra. So check out their channels and subscribe to them because they're amazing. And yeah. Thank you for joining us, Desiree.
Thanks for inviting me, and I'm so glad we read Wonder Woman. It was my birthday month, and I was like, it was a really anticipated book for me.
I remember when I was like asking people to be our special guests. I was like, okay, you can choose this one, this one, this one. You were like, Wonder Woman. I don't know if you did, but I remember that it was like capital. It was like all capitalized, but it might not have been. That might have just been my memory.
Your memory. Well, thanks for having me. I enjoyed the chat.
I enjoyed it as well, and I will see you guys in the next couple of days with a new video. And like I said again, definitely subscribe to these ladies because they're amazing, and check out the links down below in the description, and I will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.